Buffalo Wild Wings has deals on deals on deals. Like buy one, get one half off Wing Tuesdays, buy one, get one free boneless Thursdays, and $3 Tall House beers every day. With all these deals, it's a win-win. Only at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better. At Aquavita, visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers, happy Friday to everybody. It's the end of the week. Weekend's coming up. I am ready. And I just want to say, I hope you all have your lotto tickets. It's like $1 billion. The last $1 billion winner was from 30 minutes away from here. So I'm just going to say, after I win the lotto tonight, as far as the podcast goes, I'll be back Monday because I love what I do. Don't worry. Anyways, so just real quick, I want to give a shout to our Kentucky listeners with the just devastating flooding. I know we have listeners in Kentucky, and I sure hope everybody came out okay. You can go online. There are ways you can donate if you want to. And we just got to help each other in times like this. Some people lost everything. Some people lost their lives. Just amazing what Mother Nature can do. Just so sad. So just keep them in your thoughts. And if you can't make a donation, just send them some good vibes. All right. So this is a really random thing. All right. So years ago, when my kids were much smaller, I was a volunteer at the Shoeless Joe Jackson Museum here in Greenville, South Carolina. So Shoeless Joe is from here, and he was he's actually buried where my grandparents are buried, my dad's parents, and got his start playing on the mill teams here. Greenville used to be the textile capital of the world. And back in even my grandmother's day, kids would go to work as young as 8 in these mills. He was one of the youngest players on the mill team. And as you know, played professional baseball, still has the 3rd highest batting average. I mean, of all time. It's insane. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'll fight you on that. But anyways, so I stopped volunteering because my kids were little. So I'm going to show a couple of pictures here up on screen. You can see how little my kids were. The girl there, she's going to be 17 in a few days. The boy's 15 now. The baby I'm holding is 11. And so I just didn't have time really as a mom to dedicate some weekends to doing this after about a year. So, you know, I said, I've had fun, but I got to be mom. And here's a picture with his 1917 World Series ring. It was actually a pendant that he had made into a ring. And here is in the studio. These came from the museum. They were gifted to me. Anyway, so I get an email today from the historian and one of the board members of the museum. And out of the blue, he's like, hey, would you want to come back and maybe give some tours on the weekend? So I was like, heck yes. So if you guys are coming through Greenville, let me know, because some weekends I'm going to be at the Shoeless Joe Jackson Museum giving tours again. And what's really cool about this museum is the house he actually lived and died in. So they've converted that house into a museum. Really, really cool. He came back to Greenville. He went to Savannah first, then came back to Greenville after the Black Sox scandal, and they were banned from baseball. So anyways, I'm super excited about that. And thank you to everybody who sent messages and audio letting me know that I totally butchered Hezedick last night. I don't think I have to say that again, thank goodness. But listen, y'all, I went to like 5 different pronunciation websites and they all sounded different. So I just literally clicked one and was like, I'm going with this. It was wrong. All right. So we're going to pick up on this series. We're still on June 29th. A lot happened this day. A lot of yesterday was around June 29th. So just to recap, we know that Charles discovers this fake email that Lori sent to Chad, and he confronts Lori and emails both Chad and Tammy about this. So at 5:25 p.m. later that day, Charles sends Adam a text. Are you home today? And Adam says, no, we're in Arkansas. So at 5:45, we're switching sides. Lori texts Zulema. So amazing. Can you come over tonight? Zulema says she's working until 8. If my kids are not home, then I'll definitely come over. I would love to see you. Lori says, I would love it too. And she asks Zulema, when do you leave for Chile? So Zulema says she leaves between the 14th and the 17th and that they're flying standby to see what day there's less people traveling. And Lori asks, when are you coming back? And Zulema says either the 29th, 30th, or 31st. So back to Charles, a couple of hours later, he responds to Adam and tells Adam to have fun in Arkansas. He said, the letter I sent you today, I think it shows Lori is having an affair with Chad Daybell. It all makes sense. We can talk when you get back. She has to be stopped. She's ruining too many lives. He put, OMG, we need a private investigator to take pics of him and her together. And then he says, not necessarily. It's too obvious. I've got her cornered. She knows I know. I'm talking to Chad's wife on Monday. That should do it. So this is sent on a Sunday. So that would be the next day. I'm really curious to know if they actually made plans to talk. And so Charles says this should be big news in our community. He plays so righteous, and here he is having an affair. She has to be stopped. This will be her third family to destroy. It's up to you, Adam. I'm leaving it to you. I don't know what else to do. So Adam responds and says they will deny it. What proof do we have besides the email? And Charles says, I don't need any more. Let her deny it. I'm going to the next event and putting it all on a flash drive and handing it out to the 2,000 attendees. Let them make up their own mind and see who's preaching to them about our church and how beautiful families are while having an affair. It'll be so much fun. He'll probably sell more books, but not for a reason he likes. I've already contacted his wife. It should be real interesting when I speak with her on Monday. So in the document dumps, it says investigators reached out to the school district where Tammy worked to see if she received those emails, and they couldn't locate them. So either, number one, she read and deleted them or just deleted them. And after Charles's murder, they also note in the documents that it's possible that Lori may have used his email after the murder, acting as him to maybe smooth things over with Tammy. But I really do wonder. I like to hope that he did get in touch with Tammy before he was murdered. And investigators say they also found no proof that Charles had any phone conversations with Chad or Tammy. But look, Tammy worked somewhere. He could have talked to her on her work phone from another phone. I just hope that they were able to talk. So Charles moved some documents from his Gmail to his iCloud account having to do with Lori's religious beliefs. And this is the document about Lori and Chad's kids in a past life. If you remember, it's like the Dream Girls, some hunky quarterback, and all that hogwash. So on June 30th, Charles sends a text to their nephew, Zach, and who I love, by the way. I just think he's a legit dude. They talk about Brandon and Melanice and also how Lori has ruined their marriage. And remember, Zach had been living with Lori and Charles up until this January freak out by her, where it all started coming undone. So Lori and Charles on June 30th, they are continuing to text. Charles says at 5:01 a.m., be sure to look over your shoulders today. This may be the day it's coming. That much I promise you, and your boyfriend too. So remember, this is the next day. Presumably, he's going to talk to Tammy Daybell. At 6:22, Charles says, you will reap the destruction you have sown. I will be there for JJ. Don't worry about that. Have a wonderful day being a hypocrite in church. Then he says, Lori, I know you don't much care how I feel, but just imagine this. How could my actions or breaking your heart result in what you've done? You accuse me of infidelity, but it's you who's been having an affair. It just keeps killing me. Maybe that's your goal. Wow. How can you live with yourself destroying our life? Mel and Brandon's. Probably Mel and it says Brendan Two. Oh, yeah. So Melanie Gibb, her first husband's name is Brendan. Now add Chad Daybell's family, and you've got a home run. The fact that you continue to go to the temple after all you've done shocks even me. There's really something wrong with you. I really don't want to do what I have to do, but you have to be exposed for what you really are. You won't even deny it or talk to me as to your reasons. That's what's amazing to me. You could, I think you made a typo here. Yeah, for sure. Some of what's about to happen, but I don't think you will. Lying has become second nature to you, and you've been impressive in blaming me for all that's happened. You have destroyed me. I've never been lower in my life. It's you that has done it. Please tell me why. Please. I will slow or minimize what's about to happen. It's you who has caused it. We have a son to raise, but that's all we have in common. I will work with you in his best interest and will be there Monday evening. You owe me an apology for all the false accusations you've made. You know, I've been entirely faithful to you since the day we met. I deserve an apology from you. Please respect that much. She's not responding, so he's going. He's keeping on with the text. This is at 6:09 in the morning. Remember, Lori, when this all comes back on you, I gave you a chance to mitigate this whole thing. You didn't reply. This is all on you. Tell JJ I miss him. Remember, I'm the one who truly loves you. I'm the one that's tried to get you the help you need, that you so desperately need. Help for you is coming and soon. I just hope there's something left of you when it does. So on the same day, Chad emails Tammy again, and the subject was your husband and my wife. And the body of the email read, are having an affair. Her name is Lori Vallow. I've got definitive proof if you care to see it. Contact me and I'll share it with you. It's devastating, I know, but the truth needs to be shown. Charles Vallow. So again, they just couldn't, verify that she read those. Although for some reason, I seem to think somebody in an interview somewhere said that we know at least Tammy was suspicious. I mean, we'll get to it eventually, but her demeanor had changed right before her death at work. And, women aren't stupid. So Charles also texts Zach, his nephew, and they talked about how Lori, again, has ruined Brandon and Melanie's marriage. So Charles texts Adam at 9:04 a.m. He said, I know it's vacation, but can you chat for just a moment? And Adam says, I can call you soon. There's an outgoing message, but it's blank. So that might have been like a picture is what I'm assuming. So at 8:13 p.m., Zulema texts Lori, I can come over tonight. I have no kids. There's no response from Lori. So July 5th and 6th, there's incoming messages from Lori's phone, but it says delivery period elapsed, message to be deleted. So clearly she's ditched that phone and must have got another. And on July 1st, she creates a new iCloud account. This is 10 days before Charles's murder. Chad uses a burner phone, which he uses a fake name, Boyd Dial. Okay, Boyd Dial. He is such a moron in trying to come up with these. When he calls the mortuary, it's like Chad Daybell. I mean, really, what a moron. All right, so remember we talked about all this because we made fun of the name, but it was activated actually on October 31st of 2018, and he gave an address of Mesa, Arizona, and this is actually the same number that he used to call the mortuary after Charles's murder. We get to all that in the next few episodes. So the same day, Lori adds that number and names him Bubby in her contact list the next day. And investigators believe they started using this phone after Charles discovered the affair. So this is still July 1st, and JJ is sick. He clearly is having some vomiting issues. And Charles realizing, remember we talked about Charles got scammed online? Well, this is the day he realizes he's been scammed. And what's interesting is the person tries to email him on the 13th and the 17th, which is after his murder. So Lori finally texts Charles at 10:30 in the morning. What is your plan with JJ? Are you planning to fly with him tomorrow? Call me. And Charles says, I'm going to Idaho first to meet with Tammy Daybell. Lori says, she won't see you. She is my friend. She won't listen to you. Go ahead. You are ridiculous. Are you coming to JJ for the 4th or not? And Charles says, then you tell me why you used my name and fictitious email to send a BS email about a book I'm having him ghostwrite for me. It's a fraud and a lie. There's no other reason for it other than to get him to Arizona and have an excuse for his wife. And Charles says, you did this. I had nothing to do with it, and you know it. Also, he did not stay with us in November. I will find out. So Lori says, you're wasting your time. They're both my friends. Move on with your life. We're done. Let's just get through it. And I really absolutely 100% don't think that Lori and Tammy were friends. I think she's trying to convince Charles, hey, Tammy knows we hang out. She's cool with it. So Charles says, you're destroying people's lives. Had I known you were spending hours talking to Melanice and poisoning her towards Brandon, I would have said something. You're disgusting. You have a serious disconnect. Otherwise, you'd send your lover Moroni to come zap me or put me in a pod, or you do him like you did Joe. I thought that was big because if you remember, Charles was around with the big custody battle. He had a front row seat to all the nastiness. And, we talked about it. He supported her in the custody battle because they're married, and what he's hearing about what was allegedly going on between Joe and Colby and Joe and Tylee, he supported her and wanted to keep them safe. So Charles says, get through it. Are you going to go to court it says to fine. Otherwise, nothing will happen. I think he meant this time. Charles said, so a file was sent from Charles to Lori. This is at 10:42 in the morning. They've kind of been going at it, off and on all morning. And Charles says, you just hate it when your evil ways have been exposed. He says, and if she's your friend, why did she agree to meet me after I showed you your BS email? That's Tammy. So, maybe Charles was putting on a front trying to make her nervous, or maybe we find out at trial that they talked. And I'm very curious. And then Charles says, that's what I thought, because some time went by. She didn't respond. And Lori says, that's a lie, and you know it. Tired of the way you are speaking to me. I will not stay married to someone who claims to be a priesthood holder and speaks to me the way you do. Charles says, me? Look at what you say to me. You've called me Ned and Garrett, and you call me off? Lori, go look in the mirror. You will be stopped. That's all I'll say, and you won't see it coming. But you are in need of some serious help. I do have the priesthood, but you're the one having the affair. You are out of your mind. Think about all the things you truly believe about yourself. I'm the only one brave enough and loves you enough to call on this BS, which is all it is. You've been horribly deceived. You ask me if it ever hurt anyone, and the answer is hell yes. Just look around you. You're destroying every family you touch. So Lori says, stop texting me or I'm blocking you. I'll assume you're not coming to pick up JJ since you are off to try to get non-existent evidence against me. Have fun with that. And, I'll block you because she's caught. And he's telling her every text, you're busted. And I know what's up now. And it all makes sense. She don't like that. So Charles says, I don't enjoy fighting with you, but you need to be stopped from destroying so many more lives than you already have with your whacked out delusions. You've made our beautiful gospel a thing of horror. That will stop. Just take care of JJ till you get out where you belong. Just keep me updated on how our boy is doing. That's all for now. And Charles says, pick him up. I'm staying at my house. Lori says, no, you're not. Jason will make sure of that. Remember, he's moved her into the house that he will be murdered in. And they're both on the lease, but Charles is on the lease. So she's threatening with Jason Mao, who at this point is not a police officer. He was injured and was retired. But Lori says, get a hotel or stay with Brandon, your best friend. And Charles says, no. Is he on the lease? I'll have the police there if he tries. It's my house. And you go stay with your boyfriend at his hotel since he's making so much money writing a book for me. Lori says, okay, Joe Ryan. He is the police. What a slap in the face to Joe and Charles, because she made both of their lives so miserable in the end when everything ended. Lori could never go quietly. So if she wants to be with Chad, she didn't want a divorce because guess what? She's not going to be the beneficiary. Chad probably didn't want to divorce Tammy because, well, he got the 400 and something $1,000 when she died. It's really clear why they wouldn't divorce. But she just couldn't go quietly. She had to try to ruin these men. And I mean, look at what happened to Joe Ryan. We went through that in the very beginning of this series. He pretty much died of a broken heart if she didn't kill him. And then Charles, he's murdered. It's amazing. It's like she has to ruin anybody who she's done with. It's just so crazy. So Charles says, you leave when I get there and no issues. And Lori says, you don't come. Stay in Houston till the divorce is done. And Charles says, not filing. I'll be there later, like I said. When I come to the door, you can leave if you like. Charles says, you get awful angry when you get caught in your lies. Lori says, JJ is sick and wants his mommy. Good luck trying to take him away from me. And Charles says, I'm not taking him anywhere. I hope he gets better soon. I'm staying there. I've never taken him from you. We've been good at working together since you came back. As you can see, it's affected him greatly. Hopefully he'll get better soon. I don't want to escalate this any further. Let's both calm down and do what we're supposed to do. Take care of our boy. I'm sorry I upset you. I will find out the truth eventually about all your doings. I'll leave the rest to you. We need to talk about Mo. It says Mo run, but not today. Let's try tomorrow. And I agree. And both agree to be civil. Sorry. My eyes crossed for a second. I'm not going to file for divorce. I'll leave that to you. So Charles ultimately would end up not coming to Chandler for the weekend of the 4th. And, he, as we know, he's informed now Adam and Zach both of the affair. So July 2nd, Charles texts Adam at 4:57 p.m. Hey, dude, I'm beyond perplexed, but not surprised. We just got new health insurance for our family. Lori handled it and did it with Bright Healthcare of Arizona. She got coverage for me, JJ, and Tylee, but not her because she doesn't need it. You can guess why. Wow. I'll call tomorrow and add her. This is crazy crap. I tried to get her to understand the exposure she opens to if anything were to happen to her, but to no avail. And Adam says, you've got to be kidding me. And Charles responds, not even. I'm not surprised at all. So Adam says, wow. Charles says, this will expose our whole family more than anything else she's ever done. And it's freaking stupid. I'm going to call and add her tomorrow. Adam says something dramatic has to happen to her so she can see that she is not Superwoman. So real quick, let's do our paid sponsor of the week, BetterHelp. That's HELP help. I appreciate their support. And I'm really encouraged because some of you guys have reached out and said that you have taken advantage of this. And that's amazing. So, our brains are just so powerful and it controls every single thing we do all day long. We don't think about it often. It kind of runs quietly in the background. And, but what are we doing to keep our brains healthy in times of stress, trauma, or conflict? A lot of times we try to push these issues or one big issue to the side, hoping that it just goes away. And chronic stress can cause panic attacks, depression, and anxiousness. And sometimes we find really unhealthy ways to cope that can be detrimental to our physical health. And sometimes we realize we need help, and sometimes we seek it, and sometimes we don't. And there are really a lot of reasons people don't seek counseling. It could be embarrassment, time constraints, thinking we can't get over or thinking we can get over whatever's hurting us on our own, or just feeling like you can't make that first call to get started. But BetterHelp is a solution that has a fit for everybody. If you want a face-to-face visit online with a therapist, you can do that. If you want over-the-phone counseling, that's an option. Or if you just want to type it out, you can have an off-camera online chat session. So really, it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are so many options. And if you're struggling, please seek help. You're not alone. These counselors are trained to give you ways to cope and make your life better. It's just, we make things so much harder on ourselves trying to figure out on our own. We go to the doctor when we're sick. When we're sick up here, unhealthy up here, we need to do the same. So,
my brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing to keep the Grinch away from the toy drive.
Who's going to deliver the toys to the kids?
What about me, the Grinch?
No.
Yep, even easier than that.
You steal the presents one time.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One NA, member FDIC. Copyright Dr. Seuss Enterprises. Copyright Turner Entertainment Company.
Here's the thing. To get started, our listeners get 10% off their first month. It's betterhelp.com/whattheword. What the world. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whattheworld. One of my favorite quotes from a Pink song is, change the voices in your head, make them like you instead. There we go. Back to our document. So Adam says, just to recap, Adam says something dramatic has to happen to her so she can see she's not Superwoman. And Charles says it won't work to present facts. She knows better because she personally talks to Jesus. She will not listen to anyone. That's why when you go, you need Holmes there too. She has to deny all these things, and I don't think she will. She'll see it as an attack on her personally, and that's when she will be in trouble. The only thing she'll understand is she is not what she believes. She will blame everyone else for her problems, as she does me and now Brandon. We are evil. She is a god. She truly believes it, and there's a disconnect. The biggest problem is that she got a whole group of people that believe they are special and chosen. They know what's going to happen. If you go by yourself, it will come down to the whole family supporting her, or for you, it will not end well. The stake president can end it all by taking away her recommend until she repents. When she doesn't repent, she will end up like Al, excommunicated. Then and only then does she stand a chance. And Adam says, yeah, that is so unreal. I can't believe it's come to this. Charles says, it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. I've lost my wife, Adam, the woman I've loved and do love more than life. But this is not the Lori you and I knew. Now she's destroying other families too, and she takes no blame for Melanice and Brandon. She's been whispering to Melanice for 6 months, and her power of discernment is evil and telling her things that aren't even close to true. But it comes from Jesus, so no one stands a chance. She will not stop Adam. And Adam asks, what did Chad Daybell's wife say? And Charles says nothing. He just literally says the word nothing. Lori says, that she's her friend and that I'm crazy. She also says, I wrote the email, go figure. She has no limits to what she will say to accomplish her mission, whatever the heck that is. There are a number of things I have her dead to rights on lying about, but I've given up. There's nothing I can do with Summer. Your mom and dad won't even acknowledge me. Adam, I'm the only one who loves her enough to try to do something. Look what happened to me. I'm an outcast and I've done nothing wrong. Lori says Tammy Daybell is her friend. I think Tammy and her husband are some of the ringleaders. Just look at the emails he writes. They're all a bunch of crazies and have made a mockery of our gospel. And, I totally get that Charles might assume because they're married that Tammy shared those beliefs. We don't really know for sure. I like to think that Tammy she seems smarter than that. Sorry, I had to cough. So Adam says, I'm sorry. I know it's frustrating and devastating. Wow. How can we prove that email came from Lori's computer? 10 minutes pass, and then Adam says, oh my gosh. And Charles says, exactly. And she said, I wrote it. No hesitation at all about lying. None. Zero. There are several other outrageous things she's done that I caught her dead to right, and she still denies it. We can go over those before you go. Also, get ready. I've been telling her if Colby can't pay for the Explorer or the insurance, he can't keep them. So now I'm going to be accused by everyone else of taking his car. Adam says, good, I'll straighten it out. And Charles says, I hope you can, Adam. You know how the rest of the family bends to Lori when it was the old Lori, not this new one she's become. And in the email, Adam's wife, ex-wife, y'all corrected me on that one too, emailed investigators later in August after Charles was murdered and said Charles told Adam that he thought Lori and Alex were going to kill him. So July 2nd, Zulema texts Lori. Also, I was given instructions today to rip, tear, or burn the aura of Iplos to let the body energy out so he can't re-enter. Gibbs said to investigators that Lori and Zulema would cast out spirits in the temple and they would just hold hands while they were doing this. So Chad texts Zulema and says that her and Lori have done some amazing work. Mother Earth is very grateful to her and Lori and thanks her for the help with Iplos, saying he is so very close. Zulema says, thank you. I feel privileged and so humbled by the work we're doing. Lolo strengthens my faith every time. And Gibbs said Chad would always find an excuse when the castings didn't work because Charles was alive until the magic didn't do it and Alex did. So Zulema also asked Chad to give ratings on her family in Chile. Remember, she's traveling. And Chad responds with all these numbers and says, none are multiple creation, but all are light. Definitely a powerful maternal line. And Zulema says, thank you, Chad. This helps me a lot. It will be great to see them all again, perhaps for the last time on this earth. Remember, they thought July of 2020, the world was going to end. And it didn't. So Lori records a podcast on this same day with Gibb and another woman and is titled Time to Warrior Up, Redeeming Our Entrance into His Presence. And the description of the podcast says, it's Girls' Day away. Although we love our guys, they were on assignment and let the girls take the mic. Let the joy of your journey converge with Melanie, Lori, and Kelly as they teach one of the most key elements of redemption. How are we redeemed literally? How does repentance take a whole new hopeful view, even when we get stuck and bogged down in the mire and melancholy and muck? Here are some seasoned sisters in the world of wisdom for all of us to get a bit giddy about the gospel of good news. Gag me with a spoon. Gibb testified at Chad's preliminary hearing that she last saw Tylee either in July or August in Lori's home in Chandler, the home where Charles was murdered. And the reason I put it here, I think she thought maybe it was around the beginning of July. So Charles texts Lori, if you want to get a hotel for next Thursday when I'm there, you can take a break and go stay there. I'd like to stay and wake up with JJ on Thursday. I won't get there until about 9. Let me know. You can book it. So July 5th, Charles texts Adam, are you guys still in Arkansas? And Adam says, yeah, we're leaving tomorrow. Charles says, call me when you get back, please. And Adam says, okay. So we're going to jump 3 days here, July 8th. Charles texts Adam at 9:18 a.m. and says, call me when you can today. And Adam says, okay, here in a bit. So he emails Adam a copy of a text exchange between him and Lori. We just recently read those. And Charles tells Adam that's a great example of what's happening. And then he says, crap, Adam, I'm trying to send out discussions. I can't get them to go through. I'll try again later. I think it's important you see them. And on the text document, you see he's trying, and then it's really long, and it's we're not going to reread them, but it's just, her hogwash to him. So finally they do go through. Lori texts Zulema asking if they can call up a California earthquake for tomorrow since Iplos will be heading there to Valencia. She said, sadly, he is still okay, but we are going to continue working on him. The elements will obey eventually. And Zulema responds, I had to get home so I could go in my portal out there. Oh my, I swear, like, what if you walked in on somebody and they think they're in a portal? Like, how do you even keep a straight face? So I asked if we do that, the ramifications of things to come we are not ready for at this time. For what I understand is that when Iplos goes, things are going to be a domino effect, one after another. What do we need to do to be ready for all that is coming? So the same day, July 8th, Lori books Charles a room at a hotel in Arizona, and she used hotels.com There wasn't any specifics on where or how long he was staying, but Charles did thank her for reserving the room. So he arrives in Arizona and stays at the hotel. And he texts Lori that he'll see JJ tomorrow and take him to and from school on Thursday and Friday. And Detective Hermosillo refers to the text from July 8th, 2019, where Lori asked Zulema to call the earthquake in Valencia because Iplos was traveling there. And Zulema told him that, according to Chad, he told her that she was placed here on Earth to control the elements. Chad would tell Zulema to practice controlling certain things in regards to the elements. She would then pray, and Chad and Lori would tell her how successful she was afterwards. She added that Lori would also tell her about her capabilities. They even informed her that she was able to call up rainstorms and was able to part rainstorms. Zulema indicated that she would simply say a prayer to ask for these things to happen, and Lori and Chad would validate her abilities. Also on this date, July 8th, Brandon files for divorce from Melanice and also asks for custody of his kids. So July 9th, this is the day I think that sealed the deal for Charles. Unfortunately, this is the day investigators say Lori learned of the intervention that Charles and Adam were planning. And in the document dump, it is speculated that Chad may have found out about the intervention due to communication between Charles and Tammy. But it also says that she learned about the intervention from her sister Summer and her mom. And so the documents say she reached out to Alex, Melanice, and Summer to warn them of the plan that Adam and Charles had. So Charles goes to Valencia, California on the 9th, and Adams texts Charles at 9:08 a.m. I can fly tomorrow and come home Saturday or Sunday. So Charles says, you want me to see what I can do on Southwest? I just now landed in LA. And Adam says, sure. Charles asks, how are you going to get everyone to get together without Lori knowing? And Adam says, I'm going to go see Lori at her house and have a talk. He said, I'm going to keep my phone on record. And Charles says, I think she'll leave, but it's worth a try. Adam says, looks good. Then he texts, also have family dinner with everyone. Always leave my phone on to record what I say and what everyone else says to have proof for Holmes. Charles says, got it. But honestly, if you, Zach, Brandon, and me go to him, that should be enough. She will feel like we ambushed her, but something has to be done. And she'll be real careful what she says. So Charles says, send me your date of birth and address and email address. Also, do you have rapid rewards numbers? And then he said, I have your date of birth somewhere, but I'm on the road. And Adam responds, but of course it's redacted. So Charles says he's working on that this morning. Then he says he has deniability. So later that day, Charles says, your flights are booked. You should have the emails. I'm really uneasy about how she will respond, not only to you, but to me. And it's redacted and it says, and Brandon. I'll pick up JJ and take him to school at 8 a.m. Thursday. She'll be there. Friday the same. She'll be highly suspicious about recording. If you can bring a second device and put your phone on the counter and turn it off, it might help. That's really smart, Charles. Just a brother talking to his sister. I personally feel she's too far gone. It's going to take us going to, or she won't ever stop. She's hurting too many families. Mine is gone, Adam. I just want to save others from the same fate. I still love her more than life, but the Lori we knew is gone. I fear forever. So at 1:49 p.m., Lori sends Alex the address to the house. Remember, this is a new house. Alex has never been there, and Lori has found out about this intervention. So at 2:04, Lori texts Zulema, I feel we are ready, just doing the things we are asked daily as our powers increase and our vibration increases. And Zulema says, okay, then it was my fear that things will roll out way fast from now on. And Lori says, no, that's true, but it's also good. So, that text there, I feel we are ready. And then Zulema says, it's my fear things will roll out way fast from now on. It really sounds to me like she knew what was going on. So at 6:18, Gib texts Lori, are you home? I want to come over. And Lori responds, all my family and the kids are here. So it's chaos right now. And Gib responds, okay, let me know when. So at 7:06, Chad calls Lori. At 7:21 p.m., Lori texts Melanice saying she needed to talk to her ASAP. and would call her in 5 minutes as she was finding out what to do. At this time, Lori was on the phone with Chad simultaneously, and they talked for 68 minutes. And investigators note, based on the text messages, it was their opinion that Melanice was aware of what was going to take place. At 7:45 p.m., Chad does a Google search when you surprise someone with accusations. At 7:50, Charles texts Lori, "Did our boy do okay today?" At 8, Lori texts Melanice, "You can't go tomorrow. It's a setup for both of us." Still on the phone, finding out the details. Melanice agreed not to leave. Then Lori stated, "They have an elaborate plan. I'll call you soon." Melanice then offered to take all the babies and their stuff and drive. And Lori told her, "You can't go at all. We both need to stay here to defend ourselves." Lori adding, "It's coming to a head. This week will change everything." And it did. And remember, Melanice was leaving town for a wedding. And Melanie said, "That's probably why I felt sick about going, even when told to plan to go." At 8:14 p.m., the call with Chad ends. And at the same time, Lori texts Melanice, "Call me." And they talked from 8:15 to 8:30. And after this call, Lori shares text talking about Brandon being a dark spirit and encouraged Melanice to keep one of their daughters away from Brandon. So at 9:03 p.m., Lori texts Alex. "So the plot thickens. Call me when you can." So Alex calls her and they talk for 3 minutes. Between 9:03 and 9:50, Lori individually texted Chad, Melanice, and Alex. At 9:16 p.m., Lori texts Melanice, "They are gathering witnesses. It's just like Twilight. They are the vulture." Is she referring to the Twilight movie? Lord have mercy. At 9:39, Charles had not gotten a response from Lori, so he just texts a bunch of question marks. At 9:50 p.m., Lori texts Alex, "Getting sleepy." I didn't know translated beings got sleepy. Apparently they do. "So I'm going to need you to stay close to me the next couple of days." Melanice, too. She can't go to Utah. They are planning some kind of intervention, but want Melanice out of the way so I'm left alone. "I need to come get the stuff at your house tomorrow and secure it." I wonder what she's talking about here. Lots to do. Thank you for standing by me. It's all coming to a head this week. I will be like Nephi, I am told, and so will you. So at 9:56, Alex calls Lori again, and they talk for 56 minutes this time. You know, you have to think this is when they're getting their plan together to ambush Charles. That's a really long conversation. It's late at night, and Charles got there very early. So I think this is the time where they got their plan together. Investigators also note there's no mention of Alex staying to do things with the kids the next day, which is what he later tells investigators after Charles's murder as to why he was there. So at 10:27 p.m., Charles texts Lori, "Did you spend $196 at Walmart grocery in Provo on our card yesterday?" So Gibbs spends the night with Lori. Lori said Satan was attacking her and she had a headache, but I kind of thought like she banned Satan from Arizona. And, you know, here's the thing too. Why is Lori so worried about being confronted? I mean, she believes what she believes and own up to it and say, "This is what I believe." July 10th, the day before Charles's murder, we're going to end after this day. And then Monday, we are unfortunately going to do the day Charles was murdered. So Lori, July 10th, Lori doesn't respond to Charles until the next day at 6:46 a.m. She said, "No, I spent $49 at Walmart.com getting lamps, but on the personal account, I think." Charles says, "I'll show it to you. We'll figure it out." "How did we already pay for the hotel room? How's JJ?" Lori says he's good, just playing yes on the hotel room. Charles says, "Thanks. I'll see him tomorrow. I'll take him to school and pick him up Friday too. Thanks." And so at this point, Adam and his son, Zach, are in Arizona, and they're picked up at the airport by Janice, which is Lori and all their mom. So Lori wakes up and tells Melanie Gibbs she had to leave because Charles was coming into town and was going to kill her, which kind of makes me think she's setting up like a defense, like he's after me. And Melanie said Lori is a storm all the time. She told investigators, she said, Lori is a storm all the time. And Melanie says herself, she's the calm. So she asked why, and Lori said Charles, Adam, Brandon, and her nephew Zach and her dad were all after her. And Melanie Gibb asked why. And Lori said she had a $3 million life insurance policy that Charles changed the paperwork since he was an insurance guy, and that they all wanted the money because they were evil and dark and they were all zombies at this point. Chad calls Lori at 9:50 a.m. and they talk for almost 2.5 hours. At 10:25 a.m., while on the phone with Chad, Lori texts Melanie's. I think so, but I think they are moving their plans to tomorrow since they will still try to get rid of you. Melanie's replied, I wish there were a way to somehow be at the wedding, but I know this is more important. And Lori says, I know, baby, I'm so sorry. This is important to your mission, even though I know it's hard to just sit there. So Lori, Melanie's, and Alex have lunch. And texts between Lori and her sister Summer indicate that Summer knew of the intervention and was feeding Lori the information about where Adam was once he was in Phoenix. And Summer asked Lori if she wants her to try to run interference. And Lori told Summer she's just trying to figure it out. So Summer said, I will kill him myself if that's the case. And Lori responded, no, I need you safe. Investigators say there's no indication of who Summer was talking about, although I would probably assume Charles. On another iCloud of Lori's titled Lolly Time, Summer asked Lori if she wanted their mother to do a preemptive strike to confront Adam, and Summer told Janice no, and to collect information. So investigators say based on the messages, they were trying to keep Adam away from Alex and came up with a plan of their own. So at 3:34 p.m., Charles texts Adam and asks if he's in Phoenix, and Adam says, yes, we're going to Summers, and I'll call you in a bit. At 3:50, Chad calls Lori, and they talk for 30 minutes. 3:58, Lori texts Summer that she's going to Alex's house, and investigators say she continues texting Charles during all of this and doesn't mention that she knows any kind of intervention was planned. At 7:18 p.m., Lori sends a text to Melanie's. She tells her Alex is there and Charles will be coming over in the morning. 7:49 p.m., Charles sends a text to his landlord saying he wants to find a new place to live because things aren't working out with Lori, and they plan to meet up the next morning. Clearly after he takes JJ to school, but 10:05 p.m., Lori texts Zulema, yeah, just got a lot going on. How about you? There was no text from Zulema before that, so I really don't know the context. And Zulema asks if she's okay, and Lori doesn't respond. So investigators tell Gibb they have texts where she believed Charles was a zombie, and Gibb, of course, tried to play as if she thought a lot of it was hogwash. Gibb said it was her, Zulema, and Alex alone in the room shortly after they got married. And Gibb said she's not 100% on the whole zombie thing. And Alex says, I believe it 100%. And Zulema said she was still getting her answers on it. So she was talking about being with Zulema and Alex after they get married later on in November. Gibb also says she wasn't sure that Lori fully believed the whole zombie thing up until the time she was living in the house Charles was murdered in. I don't buy that. Lori's sister Summer told Arizona Family 3 TV that she asked Alex to go stay with Lori because she had a sick feeling and didn't feel safe with Charles coming into town after all the things she read. And Summer was going out of town. She was going to New York. So she said Alex told her, he said, Lori's going to be fine because she can call me if she needs me. So we're going to stop there because now we're into July 11th, which is the day that Charles is unfortunately murdered, and this sets off a domino effect of murders. So yeah, I've got to spend some of the weekend rewatching some police interviews. I don't know how I lost that document, but I'm going to spend my Saturday listening to Lori and Chad, or Lori and Alex lie through their teeth. Real quick, I forgot to do a music fact before we go. Did you guys know that Freddie Mercury from Queen, his overbite was a result of him having 4 extra teeth in his upper jaw? And the reason he never got them fixed is he was so afraid it would change his voice. And what's funny about Freddie Mercury, he actually helped Princess Diana sneak into a bar by disguising her in an army jacket, a cap, and sunglasses. Love Freddie Mercury. So unfortunate. Shortly after his death, there was a big breakthrough in how we treated AIDS, and he just barely missed it. But anyways, thank you guys for a really amazing week. Your support has been so mind-blowing to me. I really appreciate all the kind comments and messages about the series. It's been a lot of work, but it's important to tell all their stories from beginning to end. And we're going to keep doing that until we get to where we are today. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing to keep the Grinch away from the toy drive.
Who's going to deliver the toys to the kids?
What about me, the Grinch?
No.
Yep, even easier than that.
You steal the presents one time.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright Dr. Seuss Enterprises. Copyright Turner Entertainment Company.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.